every time India should be poised at a place where you should be moving forward, you're looking backward. As a country, how do we engage with this question? Why look at Vande Mataram from 150 years ago when we should be instead looking at the International Space Station?
Well, a nation which does not value its history cannot create a future for itself, because it's human beings. You are who you are because whatever has happened to you from your childhood to now. I am who I am because of all the things that I carry within myself. So is the nation, so is the people, so is the civilization. So, should we be looking back? It's not just about that. This 150-year celebration is of this song which unified people, which became an inspiring tune for everybody across the country during those times when people were starved, famines everywhere, exploitation, worst kind of cruelty, but the simple songs kept people inspired. So there are parts of it where Vande Mataram means bowing down, and there are other aspects of it, because one is about unification, another is about inspiration. When you inspire 10 people in this room, if you inspire them, 5 may rise with inspiration, others may protest. To whom will you yield to is a question. I think you should yield to the inspired lot, because without an inspired population, no nation is going to go anywhere. We may have intelligence, we may have competence, we may have resources, we may have an abundant amount of civilizational history, but if we are not inspired, however, if we are not inspired, we will not go far in this generation. This will cripple the next generation in a serious way. How lethargic we are, how dragging our feet we are, to that extent we will cripple the next generations. The next generation should see that this generation is an inspired lot and they're striving to create something. If that doesn't come up, then, today there are various outlets. There is every street corner, there are drugs, there is alcohol, there's all kinds of things. People will naturally slip into that. Where there is no inspiration, intoxication will come naturally. Don't think these two things are not correct, they're very, very strongly connected. Wherever there is no inspiration, dribbling yourself towards intoxication for a whole population will happen. So, inspiration is needed. How do you inspire them? Well, one way is to evoke your past. Some may be of glory of the past. You talk about the Guptas and the Cholas, and this too talk about the glories of the past, or the pain of the past, so that it reminds you should never get there again. So inspiration comes both ways, with positive reminders and negative reminders. And I think all these pre-independence era movements, the struggles, the number of people who died, number of people who laid down their lives willingly, this is not to be forgotten, because otherwise there is no inspiration. We're not talking about the past. When you're driving, one who never looks at the rear view mirror is a bad driver. This doesn't mean you want to go backward, you want to go forward, but you want to see the rear view mirror because it's important. If you have to move the whole nation, individual people may go whichever way, that's a different matter. It's not about individual people, it's about how to use the maximum population in the country towards a new possibility. We are talking about a Viksit Bharat by 2047, a developed nation. I have been commenting about this for a long time. These days I've kept quiet because at least there is a plan now. Otherwise I've been asking, we call ourselves a developing country, how long will be developing? Somewhere you have to become developed. At least now there is a plan by 2047. Whether we will get there full on or we'll get there 80%, let us see. But at least there is a plan. A plan needs an inspiration. If there's no inspiration, who will fulfill the plan?
But shouldn't that inspiration also be inclusive at the same time? For example, when you start discussing things like Vande Mataram, yes, it's a rallying cry to all countrymen. But when a section of countrymen feel, look, you are trying to rake up old wounds, old memories. Like we had Mr. Arshad Madni say today, that you sing it, but don't force it upon us. Don't make it a test of our nationalism and patriotism, because my religious sensibilities does not allow me to bow. You say Janaganaman, you say Jai Hind, but Vande Mataram is basically the idea of perhaps a figure that I don't want to bow to. Can we inspire with a section of people feeling alienated, of our countrymen?
See, you are sitting here with a red scarf. I have also worn one at one time. There are certain ideologies which does not believe in national identity. There are some religions who do not believe in national identity. So whether you talk about communism or caliphate or khilafat as it was called, this doesn't believe in national identity. Well, it's fine. I also don't believe in national identity. I would like to be one global identity, fantastic.
What has changed between then, when you were truly worried about whether we are stagnating, and now where you think we have a plan? What is this plan that gives you confidence?
See, one thing is, people can dream. To transform a dream into a plan, it takes a certain level of application. You can sit at home and dream whatever is your thing. You're thinking of Ramarajya or Jannat or heaven or whatever India should become, okay? Anybody can dream, but to make a dream into a plan, there is a certain intellectual labor involved, serious labor involved. And to make the plan into an execution, a lot more is involved. To make a dream into a plan, even if a handful of people are focused, they can create a plan. But to make a plan into a reality, you need the whole nation. I think we are at that inflection point. We need the whole nation right now to stand behind the plan. The question is not who made the plan, at least there is a plan. Is it a perfect plan? Nobody ever who's done anything well in their life knows there is no such thing as a perfect plan. We are going in the general direction of success, and that's all.
You think we are headed in the right direction?
Oh, 100%.
In what way?
Just come walk through the rural villages of what would have been 10 years ago, what it is today. For me, my eyes are always on how human beings are built. Young men and women, how they're built today, how they were built 10 years ago. They were scrawny. Their very skeletal system had not grown to full size. Today, most of them are reasonably better, they look well-nourished, at least in their childhood they've eaten better. Those who are in the age group of 15 to 20 today are in a much better condition than the kind of people that I used to see 30, 40 years ago in the same villages, all right? So, that is not a small thing, that is the thing about a nation. People are eating better. What more? That is the thing for a human being, that they're well-nourished, because without nourishment, there is no life, there is no life expectancy, there is no health, there is no joy, there is no nothing, all right? That fundamental is happening. Well, the life expectancy, in 1947, the life expectancy of an average Indian was 28. Both of us have no business to be here right now. Today it is 73. You think it's a small achievement? It's a tremendous achievement. But is everything solved? No. Could we have gone faster? Definitely we could have. But we had debilitating situations like partition, which destroyed the country in so many ways, and resources are divided. Above all, what was a even today, many people refer to it like that, I keep correcting them. India used to be a subcontinent. Today it's an island nation. We're an island nation. Tell me, where can you drive, Padmaja? Go somewhere, let me see. At the most you can go to Nepal and Bhutan. Where else can you go? You're cut off. Both eastern and western side, all trade routes we cut it off. That we were using for over 8 to 10,000 years. Cities like Aleppo, Palmyra and other things in Syria were all built on the taxes that the Indian traders paid. 8,000 years ago. Just imagine 8,000 years ago, if they had to build a city on taxes that we pay to them, how long we should be going? What should be the size of the caravans that were going? And if you go to Lebanon, they're talking about Indian elephants, how they built this Phoenician temple out there 4,800 years ago. So, forgetting history is one way of making us purposeless, that what for? Anyway we will be occupied, anyway we will be beaten, maybe anyway we will be converted, anyway we will be taxed for nothing, for being who we are. All these things will happen to us. This is how a whole population is. You have to inspire them, do whatever the hell you have to do. And right now, there is a reasonable plan how to get there. And just look at the infrastructure in the country. People don't know this. They just probably live in this city and think it's polluted, it's polluted. Even for pollution, development is needed for pollution. There may be lot of people are driving cars, that's why there's pollution. If everybody was walking, there would be pollution? So I'm saying people are doing better, but in an uncontrolled way. We need to correct those things, that's a different matter. But the important thing is this, the infrastructure in the country is growing at a pace where it's nowhere in the world anybody is building infrastructure as fast as we are doing right now. We will always look at something else which is doing better and say we are no good. Well, if you're saying that to inspire yourself, it's fine. If you're saying that to be defeatist, that's very sad. So, China is doing better, United States is doing better, Europe is doing better. We need to understand this, we are only 75 plus years old. We're a 75-year-old country. Have we done as well as we should? Personally, I don't think so. But in reality, if you look at other countries, how they've done in 75 years, we're doing way better than that. But for a country with so much civilization, with such a wealth of intellectual capabilities and skills and various things, we have not done as good. One of the important things was we cut off our trade routes. Today, everything has to come by ship. No island nation has ever become a great nation. It's time one way or the other, either through China or through this way or that way. I don't want to suggest any geography. Whichever way, we must have railroad, highways, pipelines going to the rest of the world, at least to China, Russia, Central Asia, Europe, Arabia. We must have access. We are striving to build that, but still we have blocks that we created. We created roadblocks for ourselves. Even if you did the partition, you could have left at least 150-mile, 100-mile passageway for us to reach the rest of the world. Both sides, east and west, you cut off. In spite of that, we've come. This is not by design, this is by default. You know, this is why people are always calling for God, because something like this will come by. Because information technology came, which doesn't go by pipeline or ship, it just flies. If that one thing was there, just think about India. If that one thing was not there, I'm sorry. If that one thing, information technology was not there, just think about India, what would we be transacting? Right now, for our transactions, we need to become a manufacturing country. That is not an overnight thing. That won't happen overnight. We are doing Make in India, whatever, things are happening. Our manufacturing is way better than what it was 10 years ago, or let's say, let's take a 25-year segment in the 75 years. In this last 25 years, we've done much better than before. But it's not enough for 1.5 billion people. We need to fearlessly make collaborations. We are afraid of collaborations. Now this is the problem, that we take recent history as our only context. So we remember 1962, we can't forget we lost 60,000 men. We remember Galwan, we can't forget we lost 20 men or something like that. Yes, these are all tragedies, but in a nation's life, these things happen. We must see how to take this generation, the next generation ahead. For that, geographically congruent nations have to…
But isn't that what is happening when we are talking about a multipolar world, the kind of recent engagements that we are seeing, what we've seen India do with China, we had the recent Russia visit as well. Isn't that the change that you're talking about?
It's an effort. It's an effort. But I'm saying, the question is this, for me, I want changes to happen in this generation. If you are thinking it'll happen in next generation, Fine, but not good enough, it must happen in this generation. Today if you start building infrastructure, it'll take 15 to 25 years to have a railway line or a pipeline going right up to whatever we have to go to, whether Siberia or Vladivostok or whatever. Now we are talking about this route, Chennai to Vladivostok, which will cut almost 3,000 nautical miles for us. From 40 days of travel, it'll bring it down to 24. These are all things which should have been done in the very beginning, all right? It's being done now. But I'm saying we should not approach our neighboring nations. There are one or two neighbors that we can't handle. Leave them alone. At least other nations with whom we don't have any real problem, most of them are perceived problems, okay? We can easily settle those things, the efforts are going on right now fortunately, but this could have been done well ahead. 50 years ago we could have done this. We are doing it now. So we must understand this. Oh, we are doing the right thing now. Yes, I'm glad you're doing it. But 2-3 generations of people's lives are lost, isn't it? What do you do for that? Is there an apology for that? Apologies won't help for lives lost.
To play the devil's advocate, again the argument given is that this could have been much faster. All these corridors, reclaiming our old, trade routes could have been done faster if we weren't stuck on things like, we'll build a temple in Ayodhya or we'll do a Dharm Dhwaja in Ayodhya.
That's a very wrong…
That is exactly the kind of comparison that is made. Focus on the right things, priorities.
No. Then they don't know the reality of the world. They have no clue. Such people have no idea what are the agendas which are cooking in various people's minds in the world, how things are run, why these things happen, they have no idea. They're just talking something to beat the local politics today.
Why? What is the idea behind all of these things being done together, which is what I was coming to. When you have the Dharm Dhwaja being hoisted at the Ram temple, when you have a discussion on Vande Mataram, when we are talking about Macaulay all of these years later, why? What is the plan there?
See, both of us are talking in English. I can't speak Hindi, you can't speak Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, no. So the only way you and me can communicate is through English, all right? But I didn't strive to learn Hindi, you didn't strive to learn Tamil, Telugu, whatever else. Why? Because we have English. I'm not against English language, I've thoroughly enjoyed English language all my life and it's an access to the world today, so you can't go back on that. But I'm saying, we could have picked up the language, we didn't have to pick up the mindset, which we unfortunately did. That's what I believe is generally the reference to Macaulay means, putting a calculated strategy to put down the occupied country and to dominate this. Because you must understand, the British never faced the kind of resistance is not the word, lack of success anywhere in the world as they did in India. They occupied. They captured our money, they captured our wealth, they took our temples, they took the gold, they did everything. But they still could not capture the minds of the people. Because this civilization was far more sophisticated and complex than they could ever imagine. Wherever else they went, whether it's Africa, North America, Australia, wherever they went, they wiped out the local culture through and superimposed their culture, which is what they tried here. And Macaulay, I believe, is a symbolic name for that he made a strategic approach to do that here, but their success is very partial. They did not really succeed. Though you and me may speak in English language and Indian authors are getting Booker Prizes and stuff like that, but still the basic Indian ethos, they could not take it away. They weakened it, they damaged it, they did little rubbish with it, but they can't take it away because even today, I think 21st century, India is far more Indian than what it was in the last part of 20th century.
Then what is this Macaulay mindset we are fighting?
It's just a reminder.
But Macaulay's mindset failed spectacularly in India.
It did fail, but still there's a segment of population committed to it.
But Sadhguru, there is a counter point of view on this, that the knowledge of English, and which is why when we talk about wiping out this mindset, the Dalit, the oppressed, they talk of Mahatma Macaulay because for them English became a tool of empowerment. And again, this argument becomes of, are you uncomfortable with the rise of the subaltern and them using English as a tool for that, entering your sphere of influence?
I think this is a very wrong idea. See, only in certain rural areas this is true. But these are all political narratives people are creating. Otherwise, in our lives, not just me, I'm saying most people that I knew around me, whether my family or my friends or anybody, we never… when I see you, I never think, what's your caste? It never occurred to us. In rural areas, it is there because it's division of labor, it's wealth, If I admit you into my caste, you'll seek my wealth, so I want to keep you there. These kind of things are there. I am not saying there's no discrimination, there's been a hyper-discrimination for generations. People have suffered. But like talking about Macaulay looks like a backward step. Talking endlessly about the caste system is also a backward step. What was the history or the past of a society, which the society is striving to come out of it, you want to go on taking them back to it because politically it's convenient. Because you want to win elections, people want to win elections, whoever they are, all parties put together. Because in the world, what has happened is, though most of them have never even equipped themselves with the basic principles of democracy, everybody is beginning to understand the algorithm of democracy. How to win an election, they know. If I come to your district, your caste I must catch you. You come to my district, my caste they must catch you. Accordingly they're speaking. There are political scientists or so-called psephologists or whatever you call them. They're giving you data in this district, this is what you speak, in that district, this is what you speak. So there is no more ideology for which they believe in, there is no more democratic fundamentals, no. It's just about understanding the arithmetic and the algorithm of how to win an election. This is not just in India, across the world, this is happening.
Can it be brushed away as merely political arithmetic? Because a lot of people now are saying that the only people who say that caste doesn't matter are those who are enjoying caste privileges, who haven't had to endure those kind of problems.
See, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Every discrimination matters.
They say it matters even now.
It matters even now. It matters even now. But we are striving to come away from that in many ways. Various things are being done in the society by individual people, by the government, the reservation system, equality of all rights, okay? By by constitution, every citizen is equal. The social equality will not happen overnight, you have to strive for it. See, right now, let's say you are upper caste, I am lower caste. If I fight with you, will you come and embrace me or will you put up fences against me? You will put up defenses against me, isn't it? So, fight is not the way, integration is the way. For integration you need education, competence, upward mobility of people. Is that happening? Happening in a tremendous way. Is it enough? No. Unfortunately, it's not enough.
Sadhguru, you had spoken earlier of, Lal Salam and how you also had a brush with it. The idea of, why constantly there's this politics around caste and class. Do you think also because ideas of separatism, of this class struggle would end if actually India as a country we started understanding that there are other ways to get around it? These are the fundamentals on which this entire class struggle or the Maoist insurgency, for example, has thrived on. And is that time over? Do you see it ending now?
The Maoist insurgency in the country definitely is going to end because of a variety of reasons. One thing is nation is moving ahead, that's what I said. Nation is moving ahead. Even the tribal who used to be the main, the local villager or the tribal who used to be the cadet for your revolution, they're all seeing little better life. Economically, they're seeing possibilities for themselves, education, they're seeing possibilities for themselves. So, the number of people who will pick up the gun are getting less. Those who already picked up the gun, either you have to integrate them into the society. Unfortunately, the most extreme ones, what has to happen will happen, unfortunately. Because at any time eliminating people of our own country or of any country, any human being for that matter, is a terrible thing to do unless it's absolutely necessary for the larger well-being. Having said that, are all the problems gone? That is a foolish way to look at life. So people ask me, Sadhguru, I'm sitting and working on some… Sadhguru, is everything okay? I said, see, if you're doing lot of things, never everything is okay. No major crisis today, that's fine with me. Everything okay, such a thing will never happen in my life because you're doing so many things. If you're doing just one little thing, everything will be okay for you. You're sitting pretty. If you're doing many things, everything will never be okay. So, everything will never be okay in a country, any country for that matter, especially a country as complex as this. You should see the way people are complaining in United States. You think that is heaven?
Now, the final question I want to ask you is that when we are discussing all of these issues, you think that go hand in hand, that one, you handle your economy, you handle the pressing issues of your country, but at the same time, you also need to look back at cultural revivalism. This year, we had the Dharm Dhwaja being hoisted at Ayodhya. Do you think that that is a closed chapter, that finally whatever wounds that have been there in the past, they are going to be forgotten? That is the end of it?
No, it's assuaged a little bit, not forgotten. Because, see, it's like this. Now the English came and occupied us for whatever, 200 plus years, and so many things have happened, ugly things. But today, when we go to UK, we are not hating those people. We are not. But if they talk the same language of racism that they spoke a century ago, we will. Yes or no? The same goes to all populations. If I have done something rubbish to you in the past or you have done something rubbish to me in the past, we can still be together as long as we don't go on talking the same language. That's important. Otherwise, wounds won't heal.
But will they ever heal if we have the kind of politics where in 2025, the alternative site in Ayodhya for a mosque still remains unaddressed, there is no construction there, but somebody decides to make a quote-unquote Babri Masjid in West Bengal. Can there ever be reconciliation if there will be politics of this kind?
See, there are so many people aspiring to become powerful. Their only way is by doing something dramatic. One way of doing dramatic things is, I'll teach you the technology of getting elected, okay? You do one thing, gather 100 of your supporters, 100 will do. Just block the local highway. Just lie down on the street and don't let the vehicles pass for 3 days. You may get elected in the local area. So, we have given this possibility in this country that agitators can become administrators. That's been our problem. First 25–30 years of independence, this was the problem, because agitators became administrators. Maybe they were good agitators, but they had no clue about administration. So that happened at that time because that was the era, that was the situation, that was the only way it could have been done probably. But that should go completely out, because disrupting and stopping the nation is one kind of technology. Making the nation go is another kind of technology. Anybody who disrupts anything in this country should not get a single position anywhere. We must ensure, we need a law, I'm telling you. Anybody who's blocked a road, anybody who would cut wires, anybody who destroys any, public infrastructure should not be able to stand for an election. Please do that. It's very important if you want to take the country forward. So, people do all kinds of dramatic things because they don't have any substantive, thing to offer to people. They're not willing to work at the grassroots and make themselves popular, show what they can do to people. They have no background of doing any service or any activity or running even a proper business. They don't have anything. The only thing they have is disruption. Disruption is become very valuable because we're still living in the hangover of independence movement. What we'll say, everything we'll say, somebody went to jail, like Mahatma Gandhi, he went to jail. Arey, you went to jail for something else, all right, you're not Mahatma Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi did what? Non-cooperation. So we'll do non-cooperation. He did it with a foreign government, you doing with our own government. I'm saying these things must stop. Anybody who disrupts the movement of this nation forward, anybody who disrupts the lives of citizens who live in this country in some way, intentionally, they should be barred from standing for election. Please ask for a law like this. It's very needed if you want to reach that goal of 2047 as a developed nation.
You know, converse to what you are saying, actually calls are being given that Gen Z should come on the streets, that the only hope our country has…
No, I've heard this, sadak mein ladenge. Arey, sadak mein ladenge means you are a sadak wala only. The idea of a democracy is the fight is in the ballot box, not in the sadak, all right? Street side fight is for street side goons. Ballot box is for people who value democracy.
Do you think when you speak, and you speak to scores of people every single day, do you think our Gen Z is at that inflection point where they could tip over? Because it's happened in our neighborhood and people are genuinely scared.
See, our neighborhood is not as… this is what we must understand, we have moved ahead compared to our neighborhood, either western neighbor or eastern neighbor or small northern neighbor, we were moved way ahead of them. So you can't do the same things that somebody did there.
You don't think that ultimately there would be a narrative that this is a dictatorial country?
Never. It may happen in one city. In one city where there's a lot of dissatisfaction, somebody may ignite something. Not across the nation. It'll never happen.
If there is one thing you would say to our Gen Z today, what would that be, Sadhguru?
You pick the last alphabet, which is a dangerous thing. What does Z mean? You are the last generation, is it? Don't live like that. We must understand whatever we are doing, however important we think we are just one link in the chain of humanity. So be a strong link so that the future chain is working, otherwise you'll break it. So, there's a lot of innovation, lot of spectacular things that the young generation is doing. But there is also a whole draw because most of them are born little better, little more well-to-do than their parents. And parents are pampering them because their parents were 5 siblings, these are only 1 or 2, so they're getting all the thing. What would have gone to your brothers and sisters, everything is coming to you, so you're acting like a queen now, you know? These things are happening a little bit. I'm saying it's okay, enjoy the abundance of wealth that is there in your home or in your family or in your country, enjoy that. But don't ever misunderstand that this fell upon you from somewhere, it's been created by somebody. What will you create for future generations? This you must always be conscious.
We started by asking for an inspired generation. Perhaps this is the kind of inspiration they need to hear these words. Sadhguru, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking to us.
ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए और ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए।
अरे ये क्या है?
ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए और ये घर की रक्षा के लिए।
न जले न पिघले, घर घर को सेफ बनाएं। अपार अणुशक्ति फायर प्रोटेक्ट वायर।
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
I just feel very privileged in the film industry, an industry that I'm extremely proud of.
I'm honored to receive this prestigious award. I feel overwhelmed that the NDTV has chosen me for this very special award.
Thank you so very much. This means a lot to me.
It's a great honor and a great privilege.
Really blessed to get this, and I'm really happy.
This is one of the few moments I'm going to be humble, so please record this properly, guys.
आज का दिन सबसे पहले जो फुट सोल्डर्स, जो प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर्स और जो टीम है उनको सेलिब्रेट करने का है.
And the NDTV Indian of the Year Award 2025 goes to
NDTV Indian of the Year 2025, 19 December, New Delhi. Ideas, inspiration, impact.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Faya Kun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app, and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
Other opposition parties. They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down.
Nowhere has the Election Commission answered my questions. The biggest anti-national act you can do is vote chori. There is no bigger anti-national act that you can do than vote chori. Also tell us, what is the architecture of the EVM? Give us access to the EVM. Yes. Let our experts go and see what is inside the EVM. Yes. Till today, we have not had access to the EVM. Electoral reform is very simple. The point is, nobody wants to do it. The government doesn't want to do it.
उसके बाद भी आप आधार को नहीं मान रहे, इसका मतलब ये SIR नहीं है, ये अंदर ही अंदर NRC वाला काम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमने उत्तर प्रदेश में सुना है कि वहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री जी कह रहे हैं कि हम डिटेंशन सेंटर बना रहे हैं.
And joining us now on the show, we have Mr. N. Gopalaswamy, former Chief Election Commissioner of India. Sir, thanks very much for speaking to us, because at a time when the entire electoral process has been brought into question, we are discussing it in our Parliament of India. I want to start by asking you the question that is on everyone's mind today. In your opinion, right now in 2025, is the Election Commission and the process of conducting elections in our country compromised? Has there been an institutional takeover? Is that even possible?
I don't think. I straight away can say that this is very absurd to say that. It's Election Commission taking over the entire thing is, I think, a figment of somebody's imagination. I don't think it is correct, or it can never happen either.
Should the Chief Justice of India be included so that there is a greater divergence of views? Right now, the argument is that this is largely one-sided. The decision is guided by what the government wants at that time, the government of the time.
See, for last over 70 years or more than that, it was only the Prime Minister. Okay. Now it has been expanded. Yes, the government has the one side has a higher say, in the sense that you have two members as against the LOP is one member in the opposition. I don't think it's a good idea to have the judiciary involved in this, for the simple reason that, if any question arises in future about an appointment, it'll be pretty embarrassing for somebody who goes to the court to say that your lord, your honorable self was also a member and you did this election. I don't think it is. Will be a very unfortunate thing, and it's not that it has not happened. In CBI selection, at some point in time when there was a allegation against or question against one of the selected persons, in that selection committee earlier, when the selection actually took place, there was a member of the judiciary. So it's better avoided to have anybody from the judiciary into this committee. It's, in my view, it will create terrible embarrassment in future.
If not the Chief Justice of India, should it at least be more even-handed? Because at a time when already the opposition in our country feels that they are not being heard enough, a lopsided makeup of the committee only reinforces their fear that even the election commissioners, when they will be chosen, will be in essence his master's voice. They will only be reflecting what the government wants. They'll be doing the government's bidding.
Well, this question is of recent origin, if I can say that. I mean, for 70 years, when there was only one person in the commission, from the time of 70 years or about 50 years, till 1990, when only one election commissioner was there, why was this not an issue at all? So ultimately, the question is whether the selected appointees, the appointees in the election commission, how will they turn out to be, or how will they show themselves to be? And by and large, they have been loyal to the constitution. There could have been. I can't say with certainty. There could have been some cases where you felt that they were not very neutral, but that is not the reason why you should change the current methodology unless something extraordinarily bad happens. I don't think that kind of thing ever happened. Yes, there have been comments that they are not neutral, etc., etc. But I don't think on that basis any election has been questioned. I mean, to the credit of the politicians in this country, by and large, they have accepted all the results all through all these 70, 75 years, which only means that the conduct of the election has been free and fair. So I don't think suddenly, you think of something. It requires major repairs. I don't think so.
So the special intensive revision that is now being carried out across 12 states and union territories, do you think the manner in which it is taking place, it is a NRC in disguise, given that there are a number of people who are not of Indian citizenship? We see those images of them, lining up at the India-Bangladesh border, them leaving the country. There is a fear that this is perhaps only step one towards an eventual NRC or an NRC in disguise.
Well, the question is, I'll answer the question in this particular way. See, the Election Commission has to enroll people who are Indian citizens. Okay, so there is this fine, bit of a dichotomy in the sense that Election Commission does not decide the nationality of a person. But at the same time, the responsibility is cast on the Election Commission to enroll only people who are Indian citizens. So it's a very fine thing. Therefore, I find that the Election Commission has walked a very fine line. What they have said in their instruction is that the person has to be an Indian citizen. If there is any suspicion, then you mark it and send it to the concerned authorities. They are not deciding the issue. They are only marking such a person when they suspect something. Of course, you can, any person who has been shown to be or suspected to be or thought to be not an Indian citizen can always show the records. That provision they are giving. But they are not deciding the issue. They are not deciding the issue. They are leaving it to the authorities concerned. So this is a bit of a dichotomy there, in the sense that you have to enroll Indian citizen, but unless you ask a question when you suspect somebody's nationality, how do you decide the case? But you are not the final authority. You are not deciding it finally, but you have a suspicion on that. So NRC is totally different. NRC decides your nationality. The authorities under the NRC will take all the records and then decide whether you are an Indian national or not an Indian national. That is not what the Commission is doing. Commission only says that please provide me the information so that I am reasonably satisfied. If there is any doubt on my side, I am referring you to the correct authority. So they are performing their duty within the limits of what is being asked or expected of them. So I don't think there is a need to take umbrage to it.
The reason why I asked that, sir, is because
let me
yes,
complete.
please.
The fact is that the Citizenship Act which was passed has not been implemented. That is something which the government or the politicians must take the blame for. And now, when the Election Commission is asking you for whether you are or you are not, because they are also responsible for taking only those people who are saying. So why is that huge hue and cry being made? If they, yes, I would agree with you. It is not their ambit. If they start deciding whether you are or not, they're not doing that. They're only asking a question. And I can tell you, I mean, to be very frank, they ask a question that are you not? Okay, you could afford to bluff, right? If you are giving an undertaking at the bottom of the application, there is a mention, I mean, that you are a citizen, and you sign that. And if you bluff, if you are deliberately concealing the fact that you are not a citizen, they are not coming back to question you. They are taking that and proceeding further. That's the reason why I don't think, despite all the numbers which are being mentioned, in 2004, Parliament was informed that nearly 12 million foreigners are residing, illegal foreigners are residing in India.
Yes.
2016, the Parliament is informed it is 20 million now. And as against that, what is surfacing may not be even a million. So, I mean, if the Election Commission is actually going to reside, then you expect at least, if not 20 million, at least 10 million to be questioned. I don't think they are doing it because they are relying on what the statement you are giving, which is a bit of a loophole, but they can't help it. They cannot decide the issue. Therefore, they are only asking you. If you give a false affidavit or false information, that's up to you.
And so the reason I ask this is that this has become the biggest issue being raised right now. Politically, it's become the biggest flashpoint. And especially in states like West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, it is being said that this whole citizenship issue is being weaponized against the weakest section of society, and in particular minorities who would be susceptible to not having their documents in place.
Look, I mean, they are not deciding the issue. I said that. Election Commission is not deciding the issue. If they have suspicion, then they are asking you. You could afford to give a false affidavit, false statement saying that, no, I am an Indian citizen. Okay. If they suspect, then they raise the issue with the authorities concerned. So where is the question of Election Commission weaponizing anything? And, anything you would do in this country, the first red herring which is being submitted is poor, backward, illiterate, and minority. I don't think that is correct. Any foreigner, for that matter, whether minority or majority, any foreigner is a foreigner. Why make a distinction based on foreigner is a foreigner? And if the Election Commission feels that somebody is a foreigner, then they are raising the issue. If they don't have anything to go by, they will incorporate you in the electoral roll. I am quite sure that many have got it.
Okay, if not by intent, then just by sheer speed. Can SIR be a botched up exercise? Given let's take the example of the number of BLOs. Do you think that the time being given for phase 2 of the SIR is too short? What explains the number of suicides, the number of deaths of BLOs that are being recorded?
Madam, see, BLOs, nobody prevented the state authorities from increasing the number of BLOs or giving assistance. For instance, I'll take our own experience in Chennai. The BLO meant for our area came with another person. Okay? So both were helping each other. And afterwards, once the forms were distributed, they were collecting it differently. I mean, in the sense that each one went to collect. So nothing prevented, does the Supreme Court have to come in to say that provide additional hands? That could be done by the authorities at the field level. That they failed to do is very unfortunate, but consequently some people fell ill or died. It's very unfortunate. But nothing prevented the field level officers in providing additional assistance.
So then what prevents the Election Commission from extending the deadline? Why can't this be done in 6 months or a year instead of just 3-4 months?
Let me answer this. The moment you relax, finished. That is, for 35 years of bureaucratic experience, I can tell you. You relax, that is the end of the matter. Unless you keep pressure and give a deadline, things will not get done. And you provide additional hands. And after all, in Tamil Nadu, from whatever newspaper reports are coming, they extended by a week, okay, for whatever the problem is. So where there is a problem, where there is a request, and Kerala, for a different reason, they extended it. They would have extended, but you start with 2 months, it will go to 6 months. So, bureaucratic experience teaches you, being that you are relaxed at the beginning, you will be ever relaxed forever.
But there is clearly a problem. What is the way out of this if you've got a trust deficit between the centre and the non-BJP ruled states? Even the Supreme Court had to say that you control the situation, otherwise there's going to be an anarchy. What possibly is the way out?
This is a very loaded question. I don't have an answer for that. The point is, perceptions differ. Perceptions differ. After all, in Bihar, despite all this problems which are surfaced or taken to the Supreme Court, etc., things were done in time. And the reason is that every political party, despite all the noise which they are making, they did their role effectively. They appointed their BLAs. Now, I will take, this may be an extreme example, but there is an example. I'll let you know. 1 month before the SIR was announced for Tamil Nadu, DMK's cadres had done their SIR. They had come to my house also. So I can vouch for that. They had done their SIR much before even the Election Commission's officially announced it. Okay. So, ये हाथी के दांत जैसे है ना, खाने के और दिखाने के और.
Finally, you think the manner in which the SIR is happening right now, it is one, perfectly legal, because even the legality of the EC to carry out SIR has been questioned. 2, the timelines are practical. And 3, it is not putting unnecessary and impractical pressure on the people and the officials involved.
Yeah, I will go with that. Let me add also here that the political parties have to take responsibility. Now, in Bihar, nearly for the 90,000 odd polling stations, 95 or 96,000 polling stations, 160,000 BLAs, that is, people appointed by the political parties to watch over the procedure and also help. In Tamil Nadu, for about 75,000 polling stations, around 70,000 polling stations, there are 260,000 BLAs. So there is a need for the political parties also to walk the talk. They just cannot sit back and then keep accusing, but actively involve. Yesterday, I saw in Times of India a very interesting article by Mr. Gurumurthy, S. Gurumurthy. He said in his early days as a political activist in the Congress party, they had gone around from house to house. He said at that time there was no concept of BLOs at all. and it is all only BLOs. So, but after some time, the political parties have stopped taking serious interest, accepting wherever their cadres is good, they have been doing it. And Tamil Nadu is one example where both the DMK and ADMK have good cadres. The DMK is better. So they have done their own SIRs.
As you very eloquently put it, sir, हाथी के दांत दिखाने के और खाने के और perception and reality are two very different things. But when it comes to the process itself, that should be bulletproof. Mr. Gopalaswamy, as always, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for joining us here.
ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए और ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए।
अरे ये क्या है?
ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए और ये घर की रक्षा के लिए।
न जले न पिघले, घर घर को सेफ बनाएं। अपार अणुशक्ति फायर प्रोटेक्ट वायर।
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind. I pause. I reflect. I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
I just feel very privileged in the film industry, an industry that I'm extremely proud of.
I am honored to receive this prestigious award.
I feel overwhelmed that the NDTV has chosen me for this very special award.
Thank you so very much. This means a lot to me. It's a great honor and a great privilege.
Really blessed to get this, and I'm really happy.
This is one of the few moments I'm going to be humble, so please record this properly, guys.
आज का दिन सबसे पहले जो फुट सोल्डर्स, जो प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर्स और जो टीम है उनको सेलिब्रेट करने का है.
And the NDTV Indian of the Year Award 2025 goes to
NDTV Indian of the Year 2025, 19 December, New Delhi. Ideas, inspiration, impact.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Faya Kun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app, and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
I don't sugarcoat.